October is the month of the year where I feel like the fall season really starts to come into play, especially because the weather starts to cool. And that's evident by the fact that I am wearing a turtleneck right now when it is currently 25 degrees plus in Toronto, Canada. I am clearly ready and excited for this to occur. I feel like this month's spreads find a beautiful balance between simple, minimal, easy to duplicate, practical, and also seasonal, festive, and celebratory of the season that we're in. So I love them. I hope you do too. I'm excited to get into the meat of the video. But before we do that, a huge thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. Don't forget also that I have a Monday morning newsletter I send out each week to help motivate you at the beginning of the week. So you can sign up for that by clicking the link in the description box below. Don't forget to also subscribe, hit that notification bell, and let's dive into the planning. September ended up really feeling like an extension of summer because the weather was still quite hot here in Toronto, so I'm glad I waited for October's Plan With Me to really commit to the fall vibes. I'm ready for cold weather and fall jackets, so maybe this video will help encourage Mother Nature to get on the same page with me. This month's Month at a Glance is a 2-page layout, which although one of the most basic planner layouts that exists, it's a classic for a reason. There's a decent amount of space on each day of the month to make note of any significant date, whether you're a student keeping track of deadlines and exams, or an adult responsible for booking in your own dentist appointment. Cue the sobs. The 2-page monthly calendar is sure to keep anyone on track. Since there are 7 days of the week, not 8, I reserve that final column on the right for to-do items or notes. I feel like there's seldom ever a time I regret having more space to write extra tidbits of information, but I sure do feel it when there's no extra writing space, so I like fitting in extra space wherever I can. To create the calendar itself, I'm using one of my newer faves, the Tombow Mono Twin Permanent Marker. It's a dual-sided marker, and the thicker end comes in handy when doing border work like this. For all the detail work, like adding in the days of the week to the calendar and numbering each day with a box around it, I'm using the Sharpie S-Gel pen, which has become another big favorite in my stationery collection. I was really impressed by it on this particular planning session because it did not bleed at all when interacting with colored marker. What seems like a pretty generic calendar got a dosage of fall goodness through the addition of fall doodled leaves at the top of the page. You'll see me throughout this video really lean into mini doodles like this. I've done so much pasting into my journal this past year with craft paper and other decorative papers that I really wanted to take a step back while also not compromising the fun of the season. Then I went in with the Tombow dual-ended brush marker in the color 993. The color, in addition to being fall-esque, also matches my bullet journal perfectly. My bullet journal will be linked below. Don't forget to use the code Caitlin's Corner for 10% off your next Archer and Olive order, and I'll also have links to all the other products I'm using in today's video in the description box for your convenience. Did you know that anytime I post a Plan With Me video, I also have a coordinating blog post linked in the description box that will take you to my website, CaitlinDeSilva.com. There you can view high quality and, in my humble opinion, drool-worthy images of all the spreads I put together in my videos. Publishing photos of all the spreads means that you can easily reference your favorites when you're embarking on your own planning sessions. CaitlinDeSilva.com is proudly run on Squarespace, an all-in-one platform that has made running my own site easier than ever. When launching a Squarespace site, you can choose from a wide selection of professional-looking templates that can be customized to fit your brand in seconds. You can also format blog posts with slideshows for images, dividers, and clickable buttons. I know what you're thinking. Wow, Caitlin, I need to get me a site of my own. Well, my friend, you are in luck because Squarespace is ready for you to get started. You can check out squarespace.com today for a free trial and use the URL squarespace.com/Caitlin's Corner to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. It's rare that a month goes by where I don't create a spread in my journal related to self-care. Self-care is something I really prioritize in my life, so it feels only natural to have it reflected in my journal. I love the title that I opted for this particular self-care spread, the Me Dashboard. Sounds very technical and fancy, I know. Of course, what's a self-care spread without some healthy habit trackers? September was a bit of an off month for me and my healthy habits, so I really want to prioritize recommitment to them in October, particularly with working out and meditating. When I need a refresh with my habits, I like to find ways to spice them up a bit. So for working out, that might mean finding a new instructor on YouTube to try out or trying out a new workout app like Fitness Plus. And for meditating, it could mean, again, trying a new guided meditation app or attempting to meditate in a new location of my apartment. Next to the habit trackers is a little section to write down some books I want to read over the next few months, both in the fiction and nonfiction category. One fiction book that's been on my list for a while now is The Midnight Library. Something about it gives me fall and winter vibes, so I'm gonna bump it up on my TBR. In the nonfiction category, I really want to finally tackle Invested by Danielle Town, so wish me luck in both those missions. October means we're officially in the final quarter of 2021, so I feel like now is a good time to be intentional about how I end the year by reflecting on some areas I'd like to improve on and prioritize. This is an opportunity to remind myself of some of my beginning of the year goals and see what steps, big or small, I can make to move forward with them. The fall element on this layout comes from the larger pumpkin spice latte and pumpkin pie doodle on the bottom right page. Here in Canada, October means Thanksgiving, so I'm looking forward to the pumpkin pie slice that's in my near future. It's around this time of year I get really excited to cook and bake new recipes. In the summer heat, I'm not always the most enthusiastic about turning on a hot stove or oven to make things, but as the weather begins to cool, I love the coziness that comes from making a veggie lasagna or a butternut squash soup or cookies. So this 2-page spread is an area for me to mark down all the recipes, new or old, I want to make this season. To make the spread festive, I used my handy dandy circle template to create that circle in the middle of the page that I then divided into 4 equal parts. Each part of the circle gets its own rectangular area to record meal ideas in 4 different categories: breakfast, lunch, dinner, and desserts/snacks. The circle itself provided an opportunity to sprinkle in some more mini fall doodles, so I made each meal category a different doodle. Pumpkin spice latte for breakfast, leaves for lunch, pumpkins for dinner, and pumpkin pie for dessert/snacks. Although it's a pretty clean layout, this might be one of my favorite meal idea spreads I've done because it has plenty of room for writing down what's important, the actual meal ideas, while still being presented in an interesting layout. I also just adore how much character these little doodles have been adding to the spreads. Every spread this month has felt really simple and clean, so I wanted to stay consistent with that when it came to making the weekly layout. So I made the outer border around each day's allocated rectangle quite large. And to make sure the rectangle stood out on the page, had a little oomph moment, I used the Tombow Mono Twin marker once again to draw up all 8 borders, 1 rectangle per day of the week and another for notes so that the symmetry wouldn't be off. Doodles had been another thing I had incorporated into each spread so far, so they made their return here, this time in the form of mini pumpkin sprinkles. Pumpkins make for such a pretty playful look and are fairly simple to draw too, so lots of bonus points happening here for the pumpkin doodle. To make each pumpkin doodle, I'm essentially making a squished circle, and at the bottom of the circle, instead of making it like a perfect round shape, there's some little squiggles to be the base of the pumpkin, and I connected the base of the pumpkin, the squiggles, with the stem at the top with lines, and voila, there was pumpkins. None of them are perfect. I didn't really try and make them perfect. I kind of sped through this process, but I actually think that aids to them all looking like an authentic collection of pumpkins, because if you've ever gone to a pumpkin patch or seen a collection of pumpkins before, they don't all look perfect, picture perfect. There's usually something quirky happening with them, and my pumpkins exude a little bit of quirkiness as well. I also use the same orange yellowish Tombow to add color to the pumpkins as the finishing touch that brought not only life to these pumpkins, but cohesion to all of the pages that I put together today because they all incorporated that same color. I feel feel like this month was truly the month of the mini doodles, which was fun. I feel like I haven't been doing as much doodling lately, so it was a really nice change of pace. I want to know which spread this month was your favorite and which spreads you want to see me do going forward towards the end of the year as we approach, believe it or not, holiday season. It's hard to think about the fact that I might have a holiday spread next time I see you in a Plan With Me setting. I don't want to think about that one. Thank you again to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. Don't forget to click that link in the description box below to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Give the video a thumbs up if you found it a hoot and a half, as one does. Subscribe, notification bell, you know the drill, and I will see you all very soon with a new video. Bye everyone.